made the Camino have an advice for you. And they were saying that I'm saying, take care of your feet, and there's a ton of ways of doing it. Camino de Santiago for me was so enjoyable, and I love it so. I always wanted to go since I learned about the Camino de Santiago. I had years and years that I thought I was like, it's a wonderful experience. It would be a gift for ourselves. Do you think you want to explore people, connect with people, be connected with the nature? If you enjoy walk, I would retire and just go to the Camino several times in my life several times more, because I would like to know each one of them. Did you notice you start walking at our pace? The fact that I was entertained.
Hello, pilgrims. Today we have with us Nancy Eskenazi. She walked the English Camino from Ferrol, and we are gonna listen to her to see what her opinions are about that experience that she lived. So welcome, Nancy. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience and the English Camino?
Okay. I did the Camino with a group of friends. We were a few, only 5. One of them was the leader who wanted to make from the Camino an experience for also combined with mindfulness. And that's what we did. We walked and we apply, meditate. Well, not apply. We did some meditations. So we tried to be conscious about our environment. We were beginners. Don't get me wrong. Well, not her, but us, where most of us were beginners in terms of mindfulness. But we did use it, all these rules that they have, or not rules or guidelines, to enjoy more the Camino. I always wanted to go since I learned about the Camino de Santiago. I had years and years that I thought I would like to do it. I like to walk. I like to hike. I've done it a lot in my home country and a little bit here now in US. And the thing is that, I love the contact with nature in that way. I mean, I'm not extreme type of sport. I don't do that, but I do enjoy a lot this type of things. So when I heard that this group was getting together, I say I want to go, even when we didn't know each other. None of us. Well, I think maybe one of them. No, there were 2 that knew each other, but among 5 of us, we didn't know each other. We did learn about each other through a series of gatherings we had through Zoom, because we were from different countries, and we were talking about mindfulness. So that way we started to learn a little bit, but we never had traveled before. We were not friends from before. So it was an adventure also in that way. So, the reason why I was decided to do the English path was because at the time was 21. At the end of 21, we did it in the second half of October, 2021, and it was very recent. All the things with the COVID, so we weren't, and each area had their own rules. So the people who organized it, this group that was organizing it, said, well, we rather go content in a single, I don't know if a state or something, it's saying that they have the same rules all over the thing, and so we don't run the risk of crossing to another place where they wanted something different from what the other had defined. So we did that.
Okay.
So my first day was leaving from here. I remember was the dates were complicated for me, but there was my grandson's birthday, October 12th, and I did wanted to be with him because it was very important for me to be in his birthday. So I did, and then that night I flew by night to Europe. And the trip was, we end up in A Coruña.
Okay.
well, the first thing was that I fell in love with the area. Everything was so elegant. I mean, the city itself was very nice. I mean, I really appreciate very much all Galicia. Galicia for me was a beautiful place, and on top of that was a beautiful people. Was extremely there was so much hospitality. We received so many beautiful gestures from each person that we went by. I mean, even people who had, a coffee shop or anything like that. They or people who was walking, or they were beautiful, beautiful with all of us. They were welcoming. They were very warm. They even tried to protect us when they thought that they had to give us some sort of advice. I'll tell you later one of the examples. So the first thing for me was falling in love with the area. And A Coruña, which I didn't visit before, was particularly beautiful because I love the area with all the coffee shops and how it looks like. Of course, I haven't lived there, but from my tourist my
Okay.
point of view, they were they know how to enjoy life. They go with their friends and, well, I assume and family as well, but you could see in every coffee shop very animated people talking, and it was in the morning, it was in the evening, it doesn't matter. They were always chatting and happy, and very full of life, let's put it that way. They would get together, and I love that because you don't see that all over there. I mean, in every city, of course, many people could say we are the same, but probably. But here was very outstanding.
Yeah.
That sort of dynamic and social dynamic. On the other hand, they were extremely elegant, which for me was a surprise because, well, I didn't know the city, so I didn't know what to expect, and they were extremely elegant. I wanted to take pictures of everybody, ladies, older ladies, men. Everybody looked elegant around me, so that was also a nice surprise. Then
I
from
could live
there,
that experience. I have lived that experience because I live in Barcelona,
uh
Spain,
huh,
for almost 2 years. And people, not everybody in all the regions from Spain are the same, but that part of the quality of life,
uh huh.
and they are very, very hospitality is great over there. That's everywhere. And when we moved there, so I remember we moved from Raleigh, North Carolina to Barcelona.
The
I
difference.
remember that people from Spain say, "Don't move in the summer. Don't move in the summer. Don't do it in the summer. Do it in another season." And say we never pay attention. We decided to move in the summer. And when we were there, we understand why, because everybody was on vacation, taking their
Ah.
rest, but they take it very seriously. And they say, "No worries, nothing happened." That's the word that they always say.
Yes, yes. Well, yeah, I have. Yeah, I fell in love, and I would never stop thanking them from, afar, thanking them, making this experience so much better, so much, they enrich the experience in many, many ways. So, well, then we went by car, something like that, to Ferrol, because we were, as I say, we were in A Coruña, where we gather all together because we were coming from different places. We stayed there one night. The following day, we went by car to Ferrol, which is north, and we started the Camino there. The
Okay.
Camino, well, I was amazed with Ferrol. I don't know how many pictures, at least I wanted to take a lot of pictures. I loved, they were so clean and I mean, for me it was impressive. Now I'm remembering that one of the things that was very, let's say, shocking for me, that I saw a house in ruins, and there was someone cleaning, how you say when
Sweeping.
you
Sweeping.
sweeping the leaves, and sweeping they were clean all over. I mean, they would keep everything, even if it was in ruins, it was order, and there was no trash, no, that you can see in other cities or in other towns where something is in decay. They just don't care, and they put trash there or leave it like
Whatever.
that, or you know or parts of the same construction that failed or something. Here, even those houses that were clearly in being, about to be thrown, como si, you know,
Those are the antique
no,
jaguaras.
not antique. They were, let's say, you have a little house and they had no windows. They had no. Some had doors, some didn't. There was
Rural
there was,
houses.
huh?
Rural houses.
Yeah, maybe the old ones or abandoned, but it was not abandoned as such. As a city, they
Okay.
had it clean, even when it was just in ruins. It was a house in ruins textually. I mean, it was
Okay.
not my opinion. Is that you couldn't live there? There was nothing beside after the window, or you see the different vegetation growing around.
Yeah.
But even then, there was no trash. There was nothing that you would say it is abandoned in the sense of that nobody cares.
Yeah.
People care in terms of their city to have it totally clean and organized, even if it was something that was about to be destroyed.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that caught my attention in Ferrol. Ferrol is beautiful. They have I remember part of the, like muralla, how you would say,
Okay. The wall.
a wall, a big wall, a stone wall, and then all that, the moss and the little things, and I love all those details, and well, it was beautiful, and I learned a lot about the city and why the Camino is called Ingles, because I understand that when the and I'm not an expert, but it's what I learned there is that when the English and the French didn't, didn't have good relationship,
Yeah.
for the English people to come to the Camino de Santiago, since this is a port, a very important one, then they went all the way to Ferrol, which was the very first city like that, close to to the
To the
French
UK.
border. And then they would start there, which was Spain already, and
Okay.
start their walk. So they couldn't go in another port, like let's say from France or something. They didn't have good relationships, so they had to go straight to Ferrol, and from Ferrol go all the way south to Santiago. So well, we started there. I don't know if you want to make other questions, but I could tell you forever. I talk a lot of my
Yeah, I
experiences
have
with the
one question.
Camino.
I have one question.
Uh-huh.
From the time that you think about start going to the Camino de Santiago and the time that you really did the Camino, how much time happened?
Good question. We had a few months because this mindfulness, we did several sessions. I don't remember how many, maybe 9 or 10 weekly sessions or things like that. So we had some time before, but we didn't make it really preparations, maybe since maybe a month ahead or 6 months, 6 weeks ahead of time, because mostly we needed to get to prepare in having a good experience. So if I can give you from my part, the first um, advice I would say to anyone who wants to go is take care of your feet. You have to take care of your feet, and there is a ton of information around in the we took it from there and that, but take it very seriously. And I think that El Camino de Santiago for me was so enjoyable and I love it so much because thanks God I took care of my feet, and thanks God nothing major happened.
Yeah.
And because a little, blister or something like that could be, very painful if you walk hours and hours and hours. We had a plan. We didn't go, okay, let's do whatever, because in our case, and I'm sorry for you, I know it's not, maybe you don't, some people wouldn't consider it the true Camino. We didn't want, we were all, more the, a lot of people that didn't want to bear any weight. So what we had was, we had our backpack with the essentials for a day. I mean, everything you need during the day, something to eat, some snacks, because you can always stop and eat in that area. It's not so bad. Some water. You had the things to take care of your feet. We had the ponchos for the raincoats, things like that. But and we use sticks to help us.
The post. Okay.
So all of those things we carried along with us. But there was a lot of people, a lot of, among our group. There was people from overseas. All of us were from overseas. No way you can, and they had plans to afterwards keep traveling somewhere else. So we needed big luggage. We needed, and we are women. We are not, we even had things for our hair and things like that. So no way I wouldn't enjoy it carrying 30 kilos in my back or something like that. That's not the way I like to make the walk. So we had that one thing. It was a service, and probably you provide that type of services, taking the luggage from point to point.
Yes.
The second thing we did is that, again, in our case, and I'm not saying that's the only way. Of course, there is. I'm curious about the albergues, but we did it with little places that where had the bathroom inside the room. For us was like the important thing.
That's exactly what we do in Camino Wonders. That's the way that we prepare the Camino. We can do the albergues as well, but starting group of 5 or more. But in general, what we promote, because it's the Camino, everybody do their own Camino.
Exactly.
What we say, let us handle the way, and you take care of your why. So that way, it's more important for you the why that how you're gonna do
exactly. And again, again, there is a whole range of different experiences, and I'm sure that the others are very, very good as well. In my case, I feel more comfortable not carrying weight and having a bathroom inside the room. We weren't looking for luxury. We were looking for the thing that, okay, I have my own bathroom, and we share the room among ourselves and things like that. But why I point this out, because that gave us a program. We needed to get in certain time because we had a reservation made. So we needed to be there at certain, that night was in that town with that place to go. And that made us, it was very well thought out. People who organized the thing had the number of hours, more or less, that we would need to spend in every day. So there were days that were shorter and ways that were really long. The funny part was the points are what happened with the rain. There was days that we got rain all day, and we had ponchos. I had my rain, the smaller one that it was just the jacket, and then on top of that the poncho, and it was supposed to be my boat. My boots were waterproof, but when you have such amount of water, what happened is that all the water that goes down the poncho, you must have that experience, all the water that drips through the along the poncho, they end up getting into the shoe, between the board of the shoe and your socks, and then anyway you get some water there. But I don't mind for that. I mean, that may scare some people, I don't know, but I would say, well, make it shorter, maybe a different. I enjoyed it anyway. It was funny. It was just a way of laughing, and was fun, and I didn't mind.
Okay.
It was great.
You say that you were working a little after the COVID-19. It was COVID-19 rules.
Yeah, it was October 2021, which, it
Yeah.
had restrictions in a lot of places. Yes.
So during that time, so what about, there were a lot of people, the Camino that you were walking, or there
Yes,
was
and we didn't use. I don't remember using masks or anything like that because it was at the end of the
2021?
yeah. So at that time was I'm trying to figure out about the mask. I don't remember, but I don't remember using mask during the Camino. And the Camino is open air, open. And when you went to the well, I have another interesting thing that I don't know if you have gotten that same advice. I just remember because everybody that has made a Camino have an advice for you. And
Yeah.
well, they were saying that I'm saying take care of your feet, and there is a ton of way of doing it. But a friend of mine, I don't drink. Usually, I don't. I did. I mean, socially, I could drink something, but I particularly don't drink. And not only don't drink, I don't drink beer.
Okay.
However, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, who had made the Camino much earlier, years before me, and also did it with the whole thing, with albergues and walking with his luggage in his back, the real thing.
Okay.
He said, I walk with a older guy who has done it a lot, and he said that the best way to avoid the pain in your muscles is to drink beer, because the beer goes exactly in the areas. Well, if that's true or not, I don't know, but we took it for sure. That's what we have to do. So you could see us at 11 in the morning stopping in any of these canteens or very place, and we ask
For a
for a
beer.
beer to drink. And I did drink beer all
Yeah, the
all every
Estrella one.
day.
Estrella
Huh?
one. That is the Estrella beer is the one from Galicia.
Yeah, and they have a, how you call it, that the one that they mix with some clara, they call it a clara, that is they mix it with some I don't know if it's 7 Up or what, but I don't remember exactly with what, but I would drink the whole thing. Again, it was at the time, I don't know how it is because the 3 years have passed by, but they were extremely affordable. Not in Santiago, not in the big cities, but when you walk, it was very affordable. The food, I remember stopping, as I say, and they would give you maybe the beer for €1, and then on top of that, they will serve you a tapa, which was in itself a piece of tortilla or a little bit of soup, or that soup tipo callo madrileño, good stuff, very delicious. All the things they served was, tortillas were great, or cheese, but really good. Was not a snack from a bag. Was something prepared, very delicious, and that was included with the €1 beer, and it was great. We had, I don't know if inflation had may change this, but at the time I felt, well, this is crazy. And they have a special meals, special offers for the people who is
The
the
pilgrims.
pilgrims, the people who
Pilgrim
is
menu.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
exactly, which is
That
more
include the
affordable than the
drink, that
others.
include the drink, first plate, second plate, plus the dessert. Yes.
Exactly,
So this is
exactly.
really
So
cool.
that was, well, there was a, I would jump all the way to the end to say that when I came back from the Camino, just to express my experience, one of the things that people kept talking, well, several people mentioned to me and say, "You are radiant. You look radiant." I mean, it's like, and I felt that way. I felt like it was such a beautiful experience in my life, and I wanted to do it again. I mean, I haven't done it because we were about to do it this year and couldn't do it, but it's something that if people enjoy walking, I would extremely recommend that to try it. It was we when we walked. Sometimes we were together. Sometimes we were by ourselves because one person goes faster than the other. But we join afterwards after a few miles or whatever, or kilometers. We when you walk alone, it's beautiful as well. I mean, it's beautiful to meet people and to talk to people, and that's a nice experience. But as nice as that is also the experience of being alone in one of these forests. I felt like my mind was always, and I felt like the trees and the wind would talk back to me. I mean, like that was the feeling. I mean, I felt so. This type of experience for me has always meant to be closer to God, much more than in a couple, in a place where synagogue or whatever that you go. For me, being walking in this environment, that contact with the nature, and the effort, physical effort that you do, but at the same time, because I don't know if it's a mix of that, because it's like a walk in a moving meditation. As a matter of fact, it's like you are with yourself and your mind or whatever, and if you are enjoying your surroundings, enjoy what you see. um well, it's wonderful. It gives you some sort of peace and joy.
Yeah, there are a lot of connections, and that made me to this question that I'm gonna ask you, and because that's part of the real life. You are living there, and when you live there, then you can apply when you come back. So
Uh-huh.
the question is, what parallels can you draw between facing difficult stretches on the Camino and dealing with challenging situations at work, such as managing stress or navigating uncertain times?
Okay, good question. um, let's say that this is a wonderful exercise because you realize or prepare. I think it prepares your soul in many ways, because I won't tell you that the Camino is easy necessarily. I don't know which Camino are you going to take, or the person who is listening is going to choose to take. So there are some very different one from the other. But the one thing is that I wouldn't say it's an easy thing, because if you decide to make it many, many hours and non-stop, in the terms that sometimes you sleep one place and another time you sleep in another place, and if it rains, you keep walking. In that mode, because you can just take a taxi and go to a hotel if you want. Nobody's forcing you to do it differently. For us, was like we are not going to use any of these facilities. We are going to walk through and get where we want to go. And if, despite the fact that, let's say, it's not comfortable, the many times, I mean, being totally wet. I remember that night I said, I just want a soup. I want a soup, a little soup, because it was cold at that time. Yeah, I couldn't find it, by the way. So I went to sleep without the soup or any warm drink. But when you talk about the parallel, maybe the parallel is that you learn to be more aware that that you can do it, that you can go through it, that if you have open mind and you see how to resolve the problems that you may find in the like, you get lost. It's not so easy to get lost, but you may get lost, you may get too tired, you may find that a little stuff, or more complicated, like a big steep going up in a, and then you say, well, this, I wasn't expecting this. In any way, I feel that helps you to that exercise helps you to be more open and willing to deal with these things, thinking, okay, this will pass, and I will do the best. Let's see it in what, how I would say that.
What decision can you take, and see the opinion from other one on your team, or in a
Exactly.
different team, that all helps working.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
And then while you were walking, did you meet a lot of people through the Camino?
We did met a lot of people, and they were very nice. Maybe the people I loved the most, well, there was were the locals. I mean, more than I mean, did have experience because we were not in an albergue to talk or make great friendships with people that were walking as well. We did, we spoke, was nice, but I know other people that have shared with me that they almost have a new son or a new brother or a new sister, no? So that was not our case. But what I did love, and again, I don't cannot stress it enough, was the local people who I was in awe. It was well, there was many examples I can give you, but I remember one in particular was already advancing in the trip, and there was a moment that I was I don't know if I had some problem with the shoe or one of the something that was bothering me. I wasn't walking as fast, and I took it, I was going slow, and that's it. So everybody before me just were in the town that we were supposed to arrive, and I was walking. Yeah. One of the things that was interesting for me was the chestnuts, where they have a lot of trees with chestnuts, and all the chestnuts were in the floor, and I couldn't in this soil, and I couldn't understand why people would pick it up because it's in the other places it's so expensive. It's like
Yeah.
you have diamonds there,
Yeah.
and they don't pay attention to that. Well, but at this end of the trip, it seems that it was because they didn't think it was ripe enough. There was not in season yet, and at that moment there was two guys that were getting some. I mean, at the end of
Some of them.
after all my questions with myself, why did I saw two people that were picking up and putting it in a bag. So okay, I saw them. I passed very slowly as I say, and a little while after, they start walking back to the town. It was two men. And it seems that they have noticed me before, maybe because I was walking alone, and because also they saw that I was not going so fast or something. I don't know what had crossed their mind, but they walk, and then they stay along, along my side
Okay.
to start walking and talking. So where are you from? The typical stuff,
Okay.
this and that. And I don't remember. They said your friends had gone. They had seen my friends. They had left before. I said, no, yeah, no, I know, and then this and that. So we start talking, and I don't remember exactly in what moment well, they noticed that I explained them that it was bothering me the shoe a little bit, and that's why I was going slower. Well, we start talking, and it was very interesting. I enjoy a lot. They taught me things about the town and a particular woman that her mother was in the clinic, and that's why they were close. Well, it was a long thing, but very nice, very nice talk. Let's say,
Okay.
very. I felt relaxed, and I felt that they were good people. So we kept talking, and by the time we were arriving to the town, he said, did you notice you start walking at our pace? The fact that I was entertained, I mean, and he did it in purpose, and I didn't realize. I mean, I was by myself, when, slower. And because we were talking and I was entertained and I was engaged in the whole conversation, I didn't realize I was walking
Yeah.
normally, and we walked there at the pace of them, not mine. And that was a lesson for me. And
Yeah.
he was very wise. He was very wise because he noticed, and he made me notice it as well. That was one of the things. There was another lady that when as I say, we walk a little bit more than the strict number of miles that is set, because when you go to a hotel and you don't want to take any public transportation, you have to walk to the hotel. Well, the hotel, the little, whatever. Uh, what happened is that would add 5 kilometers easily every day, going to the hotel, and then afterwards from the hotel to the Camino the next day. So it was 10 kilometers per day, could be 2.5, 3, 5. So this time was we had to walk from the town where we're supposed to be the point, to the hotel, and that meant to walk by in a highway. Was not a highway, but was a very speed avenue the cars were going really speed, and because I was so slow, it was started to be down. I mean that you didn't see so much light anymore. So we stopped in that coffee place, drink something, and a friend of mine that was waiting for me, Maria, well, the leader of the group was waiting for me. We stay there, drink something really quick, and again they give us your cookies and things like that. And we start saying goodbye. It was very nice, the people there. So we start walking. When we were a few meters already on the bridge, that would be, but we were on the sidewalk, but was really, the cars were going really fast. That's not the nicest part. So the lady was in middle age, a little bit heavy, it was not so easy for her. She came running and calling us and said, wait, and say, what happened? Say, well, it's not safe. So take this vest with yellow things, so you could be seen in the dark, and take this light. I mean, she gave us something to carry with us, so we also had light, and gave it to Pedro, who is in the hotel
The
you are
other side.
going to. He will give it to me back.
Wow.
So
How
that's why I
amazing.
was so moved. I was so moved. I mean, I felt like, I am telling you, and I get the same feeling again, almost to tears, because it's so beautiful. The way, that's what I say. The best experiences I had was with the locals, and all of them. I don't remember anyone treating us in a way we didn't like. I mean,
That's amazing. And that came to my second question that is
okay,
also related to workplace. How
okay,
can leaders foster a culture of empathy and active listening in the workplace, similar to the connections made with
wow.
fellow pilgrims on the Camino?
Well, that's a good one. You're giving me ideas, more than giving me. You're right. One of these experiences will narrow really well the relationships with other coworkers. We don't do it frequently enough. Maybe when I was younger and the budgets in the companies were better, we had those gatherings, and you would go one place or the other. Now with so much Zoom and so much this type of thing, even if you share, it was just celebrations. But this really, you are right. If you have, even for a day, even for a few hours, if you have this type of experience, I'm sure that the team that goes together most likely will understand each other a lot better than if they don't have that experience. So I
Yeah,
would
absolutely right. Because
say,
the more that you are connected at work, the more productive that is going to be
oh,
the
for
team as
sure,
well.
for sure. And more open to listen, you are, because mostly a lot of problems in the work is that this is my point of view, this is yours, and it's hard to conciliate both in some cases. Well, when you know the person better, and it happens also with clients, when you know them better and understand their ways better, it's much easier to tolerate some things, and also to connect with them, to
Yeah,
get the things you wanted to be made to.
that's absolutely right. Then the last question that I have for you.
Uh-huh.
Uh, will you do the Camino again?
Many times. If I could, I would retire and just go to the Camino several times in my life, several times more, because I would like to know each one of them. One of them, my experience in my case was a week, and it was wonderful. And look at me talking about this like wow, until I got to Santiago, and all the people gather in the areas, in the free areas, and you see everybody talking to everybody. How long have you been? How long have you been? And how long I have been? A week. How long you? Well, I have 3 weeks. And how long? Well, I've been walking for 3 months. and I saw them with envy. Let me tell you, a good one, not not in a bad way, but I say, "Wow, this is great! How could they manage?" I mean, I would love to do something like that.
That's good. And who you recommend to do the Camino?
Who?
Yes.
Oof. Well, I would say that it's important that you like to walk. If someone doesn't like to walk and is going to be, bitter because this is so uncomfortable and when am I going to arrive and things like that, maybe that's not the way for that person, and it's all right. I mean, each one has their own ways of doing it. So I'm not saying that, but if you think you want to explore people, connect with people, be connected with the nature. If you enjoy walking in a decent way, you don't have to be athlete. I wasn't an athlete at the moment at all. I mean, I was the oldest in that group. I don't remember at 21. I was about to become 68, I think. Then I was the oldest of the group. And what I did before that was to walk in a flat here in Miami, which is all flat. So there was
No more like
nothing. Yeah, I had walked a lot before in my life, but for many many years I had not going to the gym, nothing like that. I mean, going to the gym doesn't guarantee that you are going to have a good thing, because there was another people younger and more active in terms of gyms and that they have a lot of trouble because they have problem with their 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 feet. So if you take care of those things, if you like walking, if you don't mind to have, I am dirty or something, because you really get dirty, you are going through routes that, at the end of the day, you will have some sort of, you're not going to the jungle, but you are, because there's a lot of cities and a lot of towns, one after the other. You can eat when you don't have in restaurants if you want. You don't have to be miserable during the way. But if you are all right with those things and adapt to what you are going to find in the places where you are going to, I would say it's a wonderful experience. It would be a gift for ourselves. I mean, for me, it was a gift I gave to myself
yeah.
to have the experience. And as I say, I came levitating, like, this is, and I would do it again, and I would love to do it soon
Yeah.
again.
I think the same. And for me, I've been traveling a lot during more than 40 years. And this has been one of the greatest travel that I have made.
I agree.
And this is the second time that I'm going to be doing this in a few days from now. But then we are planning to do the third one for next year as well. So it's something that if you like
I want to go
everything
with you.
that Nancy say, that's something that you should do that at some point of your life, because you are gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna apply so much when you came back, and
Yeah,
that's gonna be for life.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And
so
for me, it was a joy that, as you could see while we are talking, and I didn't prepare anything for this today. Every time I remember the experience, I am happy. I feel happy again. I feel and I
it,
feel fulfilled as well that I did it. So
yeah, it's exactly like you just described it. There are a lot of people that have told to me that have made the Camino, and another one that have not made it. They say, well, every time that I talk with someone that have made the Camino, they tell me history after history, and they are talking more than a week just about the Camino. So that should be
yeah, we have to be careful when we come back, because people will, oh, stop! I cannot stop.
so.
Well, I think when we spoke before, I even saw miracles there. I mean, I could see real miracles. I couldn't believe what was happening. It's like you have a direct line with God in those moments. It's incredible. I did. You are very connected. You are very connected.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you again, Nancy, for your time today. And for you pilgrims, please follow us on our social media channels.
For
And
sure.
on the comment sections of this video, please include your questions. That way, future people that we invite, we are going to be asking those questions for you to know how we're going to be, what should be doing for you doing your next Camino. Thank you
Okay.
very much again. Thank
Thank
you
you,
to you
Brian.
again, Nancy. And buen camino.
Buen camino.